A special get-together followed by a luncheon was organized at the Permanent Mission of India. India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Hardeep Puri, greeted the guests. Ashok Vyas spoke to some of the important guests at this luncheon celebration for ITV. Here are some excerpts.
When you reflect and look at Indian scene as it is emerging, and there are various issues which are causing a sort of restlessness amongst Indians, even those who are outside India. Especially, we have always taken pride in claiming that we come from great cultural heritage and the kind of things that are coming to us from media disturbs us. So, how do you look about this issue, and how hopeful you are?
Let me first of all stress that you must look at the big picture. And the big picture of India is one of great optimism. We are a young country. We are a young country that certainly will be going places in the international field. In many respects, and perhaps in all respects, no, I wouldn't say in all respects, but in many respects. It is also, of course, important that on occasions like this, we are deeply introspective. There have been many things recently which call for deep introspection. We must look at the direction in which our country is going. We must look at certain basic issues that need to be addressed and resolved. And we must look at the vast gap between the rural and the urban, between the vulnerable classes and the better off classes in India. These are issues of development that any country needs to take into account. I think India, in terms of its positioning in the world and in terms of its own national self-image, is in a position to do this, and I think it will do this. Every country goes through phases of doubt as well as phases of confidence. I think as a big country, as a big civilization, India has been continuously self-configuring, self-creating, as it were. And I think we are building up our society virtually every day anew. And I am confident that as we celebrate our Republic Day, we are going to do greater things, we are going to have better achievements. Of course, we will need to look at some of the deeper, the more, let's say, not necessarily ugly, but the less beautiful things about our society and even our governance. All of these need to be addressed. But let us look, as I said, at the big picture.
I'm standing with Council Member Andy King, and we are here to mark the celebration of India's Republic Day. When you think about India, what is it that comes to your mind, Mr. King?
Well, I think of the history, of course, time, of the traditions that they passed down through our families, being able to stay strong, stay united, and making sure that they produce quality people within the Indian community. And I like that because then it transcends to all communities. And if we're able to do that, all of us can move forward and prosper. So,
India is at a very important crossroads and is a world figure, and I'm honored to be part of this occasion. As regards to your question, it's a very interesting and a very insightful one. I'm serving at the headquarters in a management capacity, but I've had the good fortune of actually serving in the field. I've served in 4 continents all over the world. And to give you an inside perspective in terms of how India is perceived, wherever I've gone, I have proudly presented myself as an Indian, and I've been very well received everywhere. And recently, my last assignment was in Lebanon, where India has a very big battalion. It was the Punjab battalion replaced by the paratroopers. And they've been there for about, I would say, at least 20 years. And they have become an integral part. I mean, this just shows the value of Indian culture, Indian heritage, that their mandate is a military one. But they have gone way beyond that. The Indian battalion goes from village to village, treats people for free, brings medicines from India, gives free medications, builds parks. So they have actually built bridges with the international community at the grassroots level. And that you can only do with a country as great as India, which has the social, the spiritual, and the cultural heritage, which we are so proud to be part of.
Well, the Palestinian people and their leadership have special admiration and affection towards India, the people, the culture, and the leadership. And our relationship goes back for a long, long, long time. And during the time of our previous leaders, that Chairman Arafat used to come and visit India all the time. And President Abbas visited, India also several times since he assumed the post of the presidency. So India is a close friend. India is an admired friend by the Palestinian people. India was among the first countries that recognized the state of Palestine when we declared independence in 1988. And we work very closely here at the United Nations. India in the Security Council is a very, very close friend. We work very closely together. We have so many things in common. Your struggle during the time of the colonial time and the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi are inspiring ideas for our peaceful resistance against Israeli occupation. So that we have so many things in common. We emphasize these points in this very important day, the Republic Day for India National Day, and we congratulate the Indian people and the leadership on this occasion, and we are looking forward for a stronger relationship between the two sides.
No, it's a matter of great satisfaction that in a short period of time, India has made such strides. You know, we became an independent nation only in 1947, and we are a success story. We were able to transform what was essentially a colonial economy into a successful developing country based on the rule of law. We are now a net food exporter. We have been able to address the challenges of development, of poverty. Of course, a lot still needs to be done. But the very fact that we can do this under a democratic framework with, through inclusive economic policies and respond to the wishes of the people, I think constitutes a very successful model for other developing countries to follow. Clearly, we have problems, and we have problems in the polity, we have problems in the social sector. This unfortunate incident which took place in Delhi recently, and issues relating to violence against women. I take the position that one case of violence against women is one case too many, and it is completely unacceptable. But I think the government has determined that this outrage which was felt in India and which echoed throughout the world, that this is now a wake-up call and that we will need to address these issues in a holistic manner. And I have no doubt that the trial which has started of the accused in this reprehensible act, it will be fast-tracked and there will be speedy and exemplary punishment meted out, which can serve as a deterrent for others. Coming back to India as it is evolving, you know, it's very interesting that the idea of India and the self-resilience that self-confidence that we show, that is the important thing. You know, India has changed immensely, but we are changing, hopefully for the better, and that we have to be able to harness the power of our youth. You know, the majority of our population consists of young people. And we have to make sure that the India of tomorrow, both in terms of the environment, in terms of the society, in terms of the economy, is something that they will inherit, and that will be a model for the world.
When you look back, is there any particular memory from the celebration of Republic Day as a student in school somewhere in India?
Well, I used to be, one of these NCC cadets, attending all the parades. I participated in one of the Republic Day parades, and always a very enthusiastic visitor to Rajpath to watch the Republic Day parade and also the beating of the retreat in the evening on, I think it is 2 days later. It was a very empowering and I would say really a memorable experience always for me as a child, but even as a grown-up. When I think about Republic Day, and certainly now, today, of course, we are celebrating here, but as UN Women, as a woman myself, and someone who's dedicated to gender equality and women's empowerment, we also are feeling very somber on this Republic Day about what happened to a young woman. And the President of India, in his speech, has referred to that. What happened to a young woman was brutally raped and killed in a bus in India, in Delhi, our capital recently. And the kind of anguish and public outrage it caused in India, and the demand for change, the call to action that prompted. I think that is the thought that comes to me on this day, because we have two things about the Republic of India. One was freedom, and the giving ourselves of a constitution which guaranteed equal rights. And so now we are looking at an era where we have got partial freedom, but no country can be free unless its women, half its population, are free